Friday, May the 29th, 2020, a divided Supreme Court rejected a church's appeal in California that challenged the state's limits on attendance at worship services. Now, the state's attendance policies was at 25% with no more than 100 people. And the church there in Chula Vista, California, South Bay United Pentecostal Church, says that on any given Sunday it has between 200 and 300 people for its services. Chief Roberts was the one person who sort of broke the tie, and he leaned a little bit more towards the liberal judges in saying that allowing the restrictions for the churches to reopen with 25% of their capacity with no more than 100 worshipers at a time appeared consistent with the First Amendment. And he also said that similar or more severe limits apply to concerts and movies, sporting events where large groups of people gather in close proximity for extended periods of time. Now, Justice Brett Kavanaugh did write in a dissent that restriction, in his opinion, according to what he determined for the law, would discriminate against places of worship and in favor of comparable secular businesses. Such discrimination violates the First Amendment, he stated. He also pointed out that supermarkets, restaurants, hair salons, cannabis dispensaries, and other businesses are not subject to the same restrictions. Now, the lower courts in California had previously turned down the church's request, and the court also rejected an appeal from two churches that were located in Chicago, and their governor there in Chicago had originally put a limit of 10 worshipers at a religious service. Yikes. And that's before the court acted, and then he went ahead and modified the restrictions to allow up to 100 people at a time, and there were no recorded dissents in that particular situation. All I gotta say, folks, is you know what? You know what time it is. If you read the Bible, if you read the Quran, if you read the book of Enoch, you already know what time this is. You already know. So get together. Get your families together, get your loved ones together that you can gather with if they're close enough, and you begin to have worship together. Here's the sweet piece, that God already knew this stuff was going to happen. And so that's why he put the provision in the word that says, where there are two or more gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst. So 2 is a whole lot less than 100. Now, the other side of the coin, some people might say, but what about the tithes? What about the offerings? What about them? Hey, what about them? All right, folks, you guys take care. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart Perspective.